Reb Shimon's cup. I hope people have the Reb Shimon's cup inside. You read it inside. Shimon's cup brings down, really, there's two types of Chalipin. There's Chalipin lekaim kol dovo, and there's Chalipin ala tmuro zo mechira, which means, Rabbeinu Tam says in Bombetzir Afrem Bomvova Mundbeis, ala tmuro zo mechira shove beshove. If I trade one object with the other object, value against value. That's called ala tmuro zo mechira. Chalipin shove beshove, it's mechira, it's selling. That's called tmuro. Lekaim kol dovo means that I pick up Chalipin, and the Chalipin obligates me to follow, to do the deal, but even though the Chalipin doesn't do with the value, it doesn't reduce the value. For example, the sale is 100, and when I give the Chalipin, it doesn't deduct the 100. It's not going to be 99 now because it's like Tchilas Piro and it's worth something. No. Again, so there's two types of Chalipin. One Chalipin is ala tmura. Tmura means an exchange. This is an exchange for that. This is a payment for that. That's tmura, which means the Chalipin has to do shobe b'shobe, is value against value. And there is Chalipin, which is just makes the lekayem, makes to establish. It's an act to establish the kinyan, but the payment, the Chalipin is not part of the payment. There's two types of Chalipin. Chalipin tmura. Tmura means that there's a payment for what you want to give. It's an exchange, a payment, shove b'shove. And there is Chalipin lekaim kol dovo, that the Chalipin is just an act of mekayim to establish, to fulfill what we want to sell, but it's not part of the selling. Kesef is what? When you give kesef, when the buyer gives kesef to the seller picks up the kesef, he makes a kinyan yad or agbo on it, and the money obligates him to give the merchandise he wants to sell, which they talked about to sell. So really, kesef is similar to Chalipin shove b'shove. Because kesef is the value, and I do a kinyan agbo or kinyan yad of the value, and the value obligates me to sell the object. What is Chalipin shove b'shove ala tmuro? Is I give a Chalipin which is worth the value, I'm makpid on the value, and I want to change my cow with your donkey, or cow and a sheep were against a donkey. So, but I'm exchanging. So the donkey is the exchange of the cow. So the object against an object is the value of the donkey. It's very similar to kesef. So Chalipin shove b'shove ala tmura and kesef is very similar. Good. So if I say the word kesef, it's kesef, the name. And if I say Chalipin, it's Chalipin. No. Comes Reb Shimon Shkop and says, just the name itself makes a difference? No. There's something intrinsic in the way kesef works, or the way Chalipin works. There's something different between the two. So let's talk about kesef. Kesef is when the buyer gives the kesef to the seller, and the seller picks up the money. So really, what obligates him? Or how the sale of the merchandise being sold? By him doing a kinyan, when the seller picks up a kinyan yad or kinyan agbo of the money, that kinyan agbo makes the merchandise to be sold? No. There's a middle stage. And he brings the Gemara, we see it's a middle stage. What happens? When the seller picks up he acquires the money by Kinyan Yad Agbo, he creates a debt. The buyer has now a debt by the seller. Because now the seller has an option, or to give back the money, or to sell the merchandise. So since he decides he doesn't want to give back the money, wants to hold on to the money, so then he has a debt to sell. He has an obligation to sell. So he agrees to sell the object. And that agreement, that gemilas das of that agreement to remove the choy, to remove the debt, means not to give back the money. The decision not to give them back the money is really deciding to give the merchandise in exchange of the money. But it's in the middle. There's a middle stage. What do you want to say? Right? But when he takes it, he doesn't want to give it back. Is basically agreeing to give the object. Now, yes. But he wanted to take it. Now he wants to retract, and he retracts. No. I explain you why. It's exactly the point. Because kesef, it's only an emtsoi. Kesef is only means to. Kesef doesn't have intrinsic value in concept. In concept, the intrinsic value of kesef, because kesef is an object, it's a metal, it's a material that has you can use it as many means to many things. But really, you don't need silver. You're not collecting silver in your house. You hear silver? You're not collecting silver in your house. You're collecting silver that has an emtsoi to acquire any object you want in the future, food objects you want in the future, right? But you're not a silver collector. So kesef is only emtsoi. It's not guf adovo. By chalipin guf beguf, shove beshove. The chalipin are not emtsoi. Chalipin is the goal. Each one wants the other one's chayfetz. By kesef, by silver, it's only an emtsoi. It's only means to. Since it's only means to, the logic should be they should be in the middle stage, or be a choy. When I receive money, when the seller receives the money from the buyer, he doesn't want silver. He's not a silver collector. But he wants the silver, he wants to collect the silver as a means to other things we want in the future. Or when he wants in the future. Or he wants right now after to use in the future. So therefore, it's just a means, it's not a goal. So by me by the seller making kinyan agbo or kinyan yad and the means and emtsoi, so then what? It creates a debt that it creates a debt by me that I have this means, potential means which has value, market value in my hand. Do I want to leave it by me? I don't want to leave it by me. Since I want that emtsoi, so it proves that I want it as meaning to me. Because if I don't want that emtsoi and I'm not a silver collector, there's no meaning. It's just a piece of silver. It's like a rock. It's like a metal. No meaning. It's only because I want. So therefore, me wanting means I want to leave it by me, not to give it back. It creates a debt by me. It creates an obligation from me, a choy, or to go for the deal, or not for to go for the deal. But who makes the deal on the merchandise to be sold? Is the seller's gemilas das? Is the seller decision to give over the merchandise? What made him to agree to give merchandise? Because he got an emtsoi, he got a piece of silver, which is a means to other things, and made him happy to leave it by him. He doesn't want to give it back because he wants it for other things. But he doesn't want that as a goal, because not an exchange. It's not true. It's not an object. So therefore, we say it made him to agree to make mirus das to give over the merchandise. So it's not this in. It's not the exchange that the Kenyan does right away. It's not me receiving money. So the money is the exchange of the object that I want, the merchandise I want to give, and it makes the Kenyan right away. Me making Kenyan akbor yad, and the kesef makes the Kenyan on the merchandise, because this is the mtsoy and this is the goal. So the mtsoy only makes me give me uzdas to agree to give over the merchandise, but the merchandise for me and you is the goal. That's what we want to exchange. So therefore, I'm just giving a svara to the Gemara. It's a Gemara. We'll see soon the Gemara. So therefore, the way it works with kesef is that when you give me the emtsoi, when this buyer gives a seller that emtsoi that means two, and that's how crypto works. You hear a label? What is crypto, man? Crypto means agreement of people. I want, you want, our mutual agreement. Just an agreement. Money just means to a means. It can be means with silver, it can be means with a number, or means with a name. A check, whatever it is, doesn't mean anything. So therefore, it's only an emtsoi. It's only means two. So the means two makes me to agree. So my agreement, but no, it's not true. You're not buying with money. Money will give the result that you're gonna sell to you the merchandise. You want to buy the merchandise, and I'm willing to sell you the merchandise. What makes me an agreement or obligation to sell you the merchandise? Because you gave me an employee, so then that moves me, the seller, to make a decision. That I have money and I got the employee and I want it, means I don't want to give it back. I want it. Give it back. I want it. If I want it, means obligates me to give an exchange. So it makes me the decision to give a exchange. So I made a decision, and then I sell you the exchange, which I sell you the merchandise. But you, the seller, is the decision maker of the selling of the merchandise, and not the money. The money didn't make the Kenyan. The seller made the Kenyan, because the money is just an employee, and the merchandise the goal. Now, that's true. But in order to clarify, where is this choiv in between choiv? That's what we call it. You have an option to give back or chiyuv dono. That's all. Only just clarifies in the middle stage. Now, right? It's a key without ma'asekinyan. It's a ma'asekinyan on the money that obligates the seller, mechayev, as creates a chiyuv on the seller to sell, to give over the merchandise. Yes, that's how money works. How do we see that that's the way money works? How do we see that that's the way it works? What?
The money doesn't exist instead. It's time.
Right. Tamim means value.
That's the value. As the dam is the value.
It's true. And I value money like my dam. So then when I want my money, I have my dam, I'm willing to give my merchandise. That I worked hard and I sweat and I burned blood for that. Okay, now listen. The Gemara Babakame, how do we know that the money the Mtsoi is not making a direct kinyan on the merchandise? How do we know there's a middle stage? There's a Gemara Babakame. This is the famous Raya of Rabbi Shimon Shkop. Right. People do business like that. Definitely people do it. People make king and star, and money is just an agreement. Not true. That's not true. That's not true. And that's not true only when the money is by me that I want. I want the money to be by me, then I want. I'm wanting now that after the money will be by me, I would want. But no tiki, no washi. There's no money. There's nothing wanting. I want them tsoy, yes. But them tsoy is not what does the kinyan. That's all. That's all. That's all. So let's continue on. What's the raya? Reb Shimon Shkol brings the raya. The Gemara in Bobekama says, what's the case there? The Gemara says as follows. First I'll say the Gemara, then we'll maybe read the raya inside. The Gemara says, Va'atanyo potu. It says in the Mishnah, the Braisa potu, which means if somebody steals an object, somebody steals a sheep, a bull, shoyin, seo, shoyin, he steals, and then he's toiveach, he slaughters it on Shabbos. So he doesn't need to pay 4 and 5. Why? Because the obligation to pay 4 and 5 on the sheep and 5 on the bull is when I slaughter on Shabbos, but I'm chayiv misa on the slaughtering. So since I'm chayiv mina also is a killer the obligation of death is at the same time that obligates me 4 and 5. So it's called killer the death penalty is much stronger. Rabba, stronger mine, pushes the small punishment of paying money, and I'm exempt from paying money. Since a person deserves death, exempt the paying of the money. What? Same time, I brought a case of the same time, where a person steals a bull or sheep, and he slaughters the bull or the sheep on Shabbos. So then he's exempt from paying 4 and 5. Why? The Maisa Shchita, which obligates you 4 and 5, is also Maisa Isu on Shabbos. The Tiras Neshama, Tzovea, whatever the Isu is. So therefore, Chaim Misa at the same time, you're exempt from 4 and 5. What will happen if somebody steals a sheep or an ox, and he sells the ox on Shabbos, the sheep on Shabbos? Selling is only Suda Rabbanon. You're not obligated death. To sell on Shabbos is only rabbinic issue from Ezra, from the prophets. Buying and selling is not an issue d'oraisa. It's not one of the 39 of his laws. What? Either way, Chalipin money is it. Doesn't make a difference. Selling on Shabbos is only the Rabbanon. However, the Gemara brings a case where selling will obligate you death. How? If somebody steals a sheep or an ox, and somebody wants to buy the sheep or an ox on him, and they said, you know how I will pay you? I have a fig tree, very juicy, good fig tree, in my courtyard. You're going to collect on Shabbos the figs, Isu d'oraisa, to take off the figs, and that will be a payment for the ox or the sheep. To collect figs from a fig tree while it's attached is Isu d'oraisa of toilish. Is Isu d'oraisa. 1/3 out of the malachos. Good. Koitze, toilish, Isu d'oraisa. 1 second. So the Gemara says, here we have a case where the obligation on 4 and 5, by the selling, I sold my ox or my sheep. The Ganav sold the ox or the sheep that he stole. He sold it on Shabbos, but he sold it in a way that he deserved death. Is the Maisa selling is deserved death because he had to cut the figs. So the death penalty exempts the mechira on Shabbos and 4 or 5. And the mechira and the why? Why not? Why is it not at the same time?
The collect is after that is
1 second. I have a sheep or I'm the Ganav. I have a sheep or an ox in my house, and I want to sell it to you. And you have figs in your courtyard. He says, pick it up, and that'll be a payment. So I do a my sekicha. I pick up the figs, and that's a payment. And when you pay me right away, the ox is yours. So you pay me with money, with value of money, shvekesed, of the figs. And the payment is a selling, and a selling. So I sold you on Shabbos, and the selling is ichiu misa. Yes. Yes. Mois koinos, yes, mois koinos. Midoraisa, Rabbi Yochanan is like Rabbi Yochanan, that mois koinos midoraisa. And it's money. 1 second. The Gemara says not true. The Gemara says no. What?
Because you have a sheep in your house, and he has, I don't know, a cow, and in Shabbos they say, I need you a cow, and I pull it down like the cow, I buy it in Shabbos.
That's not a problem. That's the Rabbanan. Not a problem. It's only rabbinic issue. But when I didn't do a Meshicha or Agbo on the cow, I paid you for it. How did I pay you? I said, collect figs on my fig tree. So you took a payment with Isu Dorais of Toilish, of Koitzer. So then the death penalty on the cutting of the figs should exempt what? Should not. So then then what? Then what? 1 second. The death penalty of collecting the fig tree should exempt you from giving back the fig tree. 1 second. And the Gemara says, in that case, the Chiyuv Misa didn't exempt the 4 and 5. The Chiyuv Misa made that the 4 and 5 never started. Why? Because when the seller, the Ganav, when he pulled the figs out of the fig tree, pulling up the figs doesn't make a kinyan on the ox or on the sheep. It creates a debt that I should, or 1 second, right? 1 second. First talk about money. We want to define money for me. You're right. Chalipin should be similar. You're right. That's what the whole goal of Reb Shimon Shkop is. I show you this is the same. But first of all, we see by Kesef. This we see the Gemara says that in such a case where the gun of the seller, he has the ox or the sheep, he wants to sell it, and the buyer told him to be paid by pulling the fig tree, by pulling the figs out of the fig tree. So then, when he pulls the figs, it's not the same second that the sell is a sell. It's a middle stage. When he pulls the figs, he creates a debt. Who? The buyer, the seller, creates a debt, and he says, or I give back the figs, or if I want to live by figs, the value of the figs will be a payment for the merchandise, and that makes me to agree to give you the merchandise. What?
No, the person that buys something is having stole the things.
He knows. He told them. He told him. He told them. Yes. He sells it for cheap. Cheap. Good. You don't see all those Arabs in a how do you call it? In a gas station. They sell you all those things for cheap because the gun lives in it. They stole it. They sell it for cheap. Or sometimes it's fake. Right. Anyhow, the Gemara says, what is this guy's name? So everyone wants to participate. Alexander. Get him involved. He understands English? Etienne English? A little bit good. Anything you don't understand, should ask the rabbis next to you. So again, the Gemara says, if the Gana, which wants to sell his sheep or an ox, he did a mais on Shabbos that he got his payment by doing a Chilul Shabbos, so the death penalty on the Chilul Shabbos will destroy that he doesn't need to pay back or the figs or money. He doesn't need to pay it. It destroys the choy. But it doesn't destroy the selling. The selling never started. If there is a debt, so then there's a sale. So in the time of the sale, there's a death penalty, exempts the sale. But here, the death was not in the result of the debt. The death penalty was in the creating of the debt. He pulls the figs out of the fig tree. So then when he pulls it, he takes it for himself. So then there's the option, or to give it back, or to leave it by him. Means by him pulling it from the tree, he wants to leave it by him. That creates a debt. And therefore, he sells the merchandise. He gives the merchandise. He's makne, gemius das, the makne, the merchandise. Who's makne? The ganav, the seller's makne. It's not the money. It's not the figs. The figs create a debt. The Bible says if that's true, the death penalty will not exempt 4 and 5. The death penalty destroyed that there's no base of the selling to be obligated 4 and 5. Because what is the base of the selling? The debt. And since when you pulled, you're obligated debt. The ganav is exempt from paying the figs back or debt of money, and he has no obligation to give the merchandise because there's no debt, because the debt destroyed the debt. So the Gemara said, if that's true, that cannot be the pshat, that's not a case of kibler aramine that exempt 4 and 5. Here the kibler aramine prevents the selling. There's no selling. There's no obligation of 4 or 5 in the debt exempted. The debt made that there was no sell, there's no bechal chiyuv, it never start 4 and 5. This is what the Gemara says in Baba Kame, page 70b. From here, Reb Shimon Shkop learns a very big yesod. That how money works from here we learn, Reb Shimon Shkop says, this is the famous Sarai of Reb Shimon Shkop, which I said. Anyone that doesn't know this Reb Shimon Shkop is not a student of the Ashkenazi Yeshiva. It's a fundamental. You must know this Reb Shimon Shkop. Every yeshiva bocher knows, every serious yeshiva bocher knows this issue. What? Kiddushin or Vekame, it's a base, it's a fundamental. Everybody knows this. Everybody in the yeshiva world knows this fundamental yesod of Shimon Shkop. That the way kesef works is not that when the buyer gives the seller the money, so the pulling of the money, it's a kinyan on the merchandise. No. The pulling of the money creates a debt on the body of the seller, and it makes him, forces him to sell, to make a gmirus das, and to give over the merchandise to the buyer. What?
Because I stole something, I need to debt, because in the Torah they say not to steal.
Right.
And why?
But stealing doesn't create debt. Yecheskel, stealing doesn't create debt. Pulling on Shabbos from a tree creates debt. So now I understand. Good, now I understand.
But the first one is bad, but the second one is worse.
Right. Now that's a concept. When a person deserves such a worse punishment of death exempts money. Yes. Yesh karet veyesh mita. Pulls a skila. B'Shabbat somebody pulls a fig from a fig tree, and there's Eidim that warn him not to do it. He will be stoned by a Beis Din. And if not, it will be chiyuv misa v'lishamayim. Kores.
Worse, dead or to have it down in the shamayim?
Dead.
But
that's
if I have pitan,
what?
I can't fix it.
Yes. That's what David HaMelech says. Let me fall in the hands of God, not in the hands of man. The hands of God, you always can wiggle out. Good. Now let's go back to us. Comes Reb Shimon Shkop and he says, apparently should be the difference between money and Chalipin Shove B'Shove, that money creates a debt, choiv, yes, he calls it, and Chalipin Shove B'Shove is direct. When I pull the Chalipin, when the seller pulls the buyer's object that he wants, that he desires, that pulling directly makes a kinyan on the other object of Vasachas in one shot. But he says not true. He found the Toys on the Merube, the Roshe B'Chalipin Shove B'Shove is with the debt. How? Because Toysa says by figs, Toysa says figs is Chalipin. When the guy's pulling Chalipin, he only has a shayle, can pay off the Chalipin or not. Can fruit create Chalipin or not? The contraband Omar fruit can make Chalipin, the case is Chalipin. So we see even by Chalipin is the middle stage of a debt. Even Chalipin Shove B'Shove is not when I pull, when the seller pulls the Chalipin of the buyer, and he wants that object as an exchange, object and object, it's not a Maisekinian on the other object of the seller's object. No. It creates a debt and then makes him an agreement to give over the makna with Gmius Das, the makna of the object. It's not the Vasachas, but with a choiv in the middle. So really both are the same. So what's the difference? The difference is as follows. The buy kesef is the value of the object created a debt. And the debt is the value. Yes, choiv. Not death. Debt means a chov, an obligation. Deuda. Yes, deuda. But by Chalipin also creates a deuda. But the deuda is an object itself. Because since it's exchanging an object with an object, so when the seller receives the object of the buyer, when the seller receives the buyer's object that he wants, so really is the object itself that he pulls, is that the value of the object, the kuf of the object, the object itself creates a choiv, and then creates I have to give the other object in exchange. So both creates a choiv, both is the middle stage. But by money, when by me pulling the money, the emtsoi creates a debt of value, not a debt of a goof adovo, or I give back the goof, or I give the other object. No, I need to give back the value, the money. Money is value. It's market value. And by Chalipin chefetz bechefetz is the chefetz when the seller pulls the chefetz, the object of the buyer, it creates a debt or give back the chefetz itself, the gufa chefetz itself, or sell the other object in exchange. That's the difference. So when Toisa says, let's go back to our Toisas. When Toisa says Chalipin lamitam kesef kinan acher, it means to say, in what way Chalipin kinan acher? That even Chalipin shove b'shove is not like kesef, because kesef you create a choiv of a value, and Chalipin shove b'shove you create a choiv of the object itself. Give back the object or sell the other object. So Chalipin is not kesef, doesn't work by a woman, and since Chalipin has less shove pruto and is lo mikana nafsho, says out of the pictures, out of the gzeras hakosu, and is not part of kesef. No. But he's saying even Chalipin Shover Shover, which is similar to Kesef, but it's still Kinyan Acher. That's how it's Kesef. The Avim in the Gemara was Chalipin Shover Shover and Shover Pruto, it's Kesef. The Baskone, since it exists less than Shover Pruto, so he made it's not Kesef, and then what is it? It's the Chefet itself. It's not, doesn't create Domim, Ribui Domim, rather, you give me the chayfetz, so I have to give you all. It creates a choiv of chayfetz. Yes. Yes, but it creates a chayfetz, the obligation of chayfetz, and an exchange of the chayfetz, I give the other chayfetz. And that doesn't work by a kiddushin, because kiddushin only kesef, but not chalipin shov, which is a kinyan acher. And why it's a kinyan acher? Because by domim creates a choiv of domim, ribui domim, and by chalipin creates gufa chayfetz, choiv of the gufa chayfetz. Chayfetz gufa. From the choiv. Since the gavra of the moicher has a choiv, or to give back the object or give back domim or chayfetz, so then it gives him a gmirus das to makne the other object in exchange, or in domim the object itself, which is the merchandise.
In this case, they have kikah. Like in this case, they have a kinyan of Chalipin, and also a kikah because he's put it from the tree, right?
Yes.
And but for those swords, they say the Chalipin is also kesef, but don't have kikah from the wall.
That's another word. That's the big Shmuel's word. We just now said Reb Shimon Shkop. Now we're going to start with we're in the Torah of Reb Shimon Shkop. Okay, in that world, you have to know there's worlds. You have worlds. Olamot, Olam Asiyah, Tzilut, which world you in?
When you have
Yes.
an exchange for one object and another object,
Yes.
there is no entity.
Exchange one object to the other. He wants to learn that Liba the Emes is both of him saying.
They both have
Yes. Just what is the Mtsoi? by kesef is the fact he gave me money, silver, means he gave me more value, market value. So I have an option or to give you back the market value, or the object that the merchandise we want to sell. By Chalipin Shove B'Shove is when you give me the object which I want, so I need to give you or the object itself back, guf, adovo, or sell my other object to you. That's the debt. But the debt is not more money, market value I have to give it back, I have to give you an object. That's what that's what he wants to say. Okay. Now let's continue on in the Birkat Shmuel. Birkat Shmuel has a different world. He's magdir why here Chalipin is not mitam kesef. According to the Rambam, he says because Chalipin is not kesef by kich of Kiddushin, a ma'aseh of Kiddushin, and he makes this two layers by kesef. Kesef by Kiddushin, although you use pruto and somebody speaks and sells and buys, but it's different dinim. The kich of Kiddushin, kich of kesef Kiddushin is different dinim. As normal dinim of kesef kol haTorah kulo. By the Amira, by Kiddushin, you need special Amira only if he has to have the initiation, etc. So I don't have to know his knowledge. You have to have the knowledge has to come, the revelation of the knowledge of the ma'aseh Kiddushin to come through him, has to come through him because of Kichet Kiddushin. And number two, which is our subject, is the Pruta. The Pruta that you give me Tam Kesef, the Pruta that you give me Tam Kesef has to have a ma'aseh Kich on it. And if it's a pruta of Chalipin, will not be a ma'aseh kich of kesef, of Kiddushin.
So, if it's like a kid in Old Alma, I'm going back, you have to have that's both of them. Also,
Okay, that's the last part. That's the last part of the Birkat Shmuel. Yes, sure. Yes. By Kiddushin, I don't need more. I need odas in a different way. That's the last part of the Birkat Shmuel. Yes. Because the dat of a woman by Kiddushin is not part of the ma'aseh kicha. So Imela there is the normal das of normal ma'aseh kin and kesef. It's not part of ma'aseh kicha of Kiddushin. That's the piece in there that the Birkat Shmuel adds. We didn't learn it yet. Yes.
All this thing is the kach.
Right.
Because
That's our subject. Good.
why we don't start kach, no Chalipin, no kesef.
Good. That's what we're learning now. Exactly. This. Good. Now we're going to read the Birkat Shmuel inside. So we read it this morning. I'm going to read it again, but I want to add a piece which we didn't read. The last piece.
Where are you starting?
And I want to see if it fits in Tosfos. Those two things we want to do today. See b'siyata d'shmai.
Where are you starting in the Birkat Shmuel?
Yes, that's what we want to see inside today. B'ezrat Hashem. Let's see.
Where are you starting in the Birkat Shmuel
It's a
now?
few minutes here.
Where?
B'ezrat Hashem. Again, Opa. נכון. כן, אבל השור לא צריך להיות פרוטה, גם פחות משווה פרוטה. צריך להיות דבר מסוים, שלם, אבל לא צריך להיות שווה, פרוטה.
אפשר לפתוח את החלון?
צריך חלון,
כן?
נביא.
Yeah, vale. Come from here, so you shouldn't pull nothing down.
Are you filming? I don't want to see.
Okay, go quickly. Put your head down. They saw you! Okay.
למעלה.
No, אין.
Okay. Good. He says like this. The Birkat Shmuel says that when the Torah says Kika Chishisho, and we learn Kicha means Kesef, and Kesef means yes. כן, זה שיטה אחרת. זה אישה של פרסום מדרבנן, אנחנו מדברים פה מדאורייתא. אם על תוספות, אז יש לרב שמעון שקופ, עכשיו נגיד את הפשט של הברכת שמואל. So the Birkat Shmuel says as follows. V'yan, I'm reading in the Birkat Shmuel's Aleph, 3 lines down. V'yan sheniskavanti b'svor zul ledas mori v'Rabbi zi, al ken echtov b'zeh, ma sheni roy b'zeh. I want to tell you what it looks to me in my understanding to explain my Rebbe's svor. The nire de kolmade beina mi Kiddushin kiruin apruto, it looks all we need in Kiddushin the pruto. Min vama de beina kesem shu kinyan midin kesem. Besides that we need the pruta to acquire like any other acquisition, I need the pruta kiddushin from the decree of the Torah in order to be a ma'aseh kiddushin, which means when I need pruta for kesef, I need it for 2 layers. One layer as money creates an acquisition like any other object. Any other acquisition in Torah, by land, by movable things, money is an acquisition. So I need the pruta, which is the measurement of what makes money. I need that pruta for the sake of 2 things. Number 1 is for the sake of all kinyonim, of kol haTorah kula. Number 2, I need the pruta to be kesef of kiddushin, of kichin kiddushin, which has its own special laws and special dinim. And he says, I'll bring down first the words of my Rabbi Reb Chaim Alevi. Now I want to explain this Rambam because there's a Tosfot there and a Rambam, and we want to adapt the svor of the Birkat Shmuel to the Tosfos, okay? So we have to see the Gemara there with the Rambam and Tosfos. And then we have to see what they're arguing there and how both can fit. This is my goal today. So the Gemara in page 6b says, people have the Gemara, should open the Gemara. The Gemara says, Omar Rove. Somebody says to a woman, take this money. Somebody gives a woman money with condition that she needs to give it back. What? Why not?
He's only give us, take it back.
No. He gives,
And
and then you have an obligation to give it back, a condition to give it back. And if you don't give back, 1 second, if you don't give back, I never gave it to you. So I'm only giving it to you with a condition, you give me it back. But it's a condition. Condition is an external, not internal. So therefore, the Gemara wants to say that maybe it works by Isha. But in the end, the Gemara says, Omar Avashi. Avashi says, Bekulu Koni. Matone, if I give money, Matones La'achzir, by Pidyon Aben, by Mecher, buying land, buying metaltalin to Rabbi Yochanan, which is koine midoraisa kesef, all those things, kesef, when I need to give kesef, and the kesef makes an acquisition, makes a kinyan, even Matones La'achzir, even with a gift, with condition to give it back, it works. It works. Lebal, besides Lebal Miisha, besides a woman. Why? The Gemara says in here there's 2 girsois, or 2 explanations in the Rishonim. The Gemara says, Omar Avashi bekulo koni Lebal Miisha. Why? Because when I give kesef with a condition to give it back, almanas, with condition to give it back, Tomi lechalipin. It's similar to Chalipin. And Chalipin by Isha loikonu. By a woman, Chalipin doesn't work. What's the language? I'm going to get it in front of me. Lebar mi Isha, lefi she'ein Isha liga b'Chalipin. Because a woman is not acquiring Chalipin. So now that we know a woman is not acquiring Chalipin, so therefore, Matomah doesn't work because it's mamish toivel lechalipin or it's exeres chalipin. Machlokes Rishonim. The language is because the Gemara just says a fact. You know why? Matomah Zarzi works by everywhere, by Pidyon Aben, by Mecher, but by Kiddushin doesn't work because Isha doesn't get acquired with chalipin, and therefore it's not koine. Matomah Zarzi does not koine. Why therefore? Something is missing. Why it's therefore? 1 second. because it's doime lechalipin. That doime, it's a tinun derabonon or doraisa. Machlokes Rishonim. So yes, Rashi, yes. Yes. Okay, so which Chalipin? Chalipin of Sudo, yes. No, that's all. But it doesn't say it's the Raisa de Rabbanon. Toises on the spot. If you look at Toises, the last 3 lines on the page, Toises. Toises says, "Vim toimar, b'may don lechalipin. Im ishu lechalipin, im ishu lechalipin, chalipin gufayu." The Gemara says that you can hold on to it. So in what way Chalipin and Matom Nachzi is doime? Matom Nachzi you must give back, otherwise the Matom is not a gift. By Chalipin, Ravashi says the same Ravashi in the Dolim holds. He says maybe you can hold on to it. So please understand that maybe it's a real side of Ravashi. And Mimele is not doime leChalipin. So why Matom Nachzi not koine? Chalipin you can hold on to it, and Matom Nachzi you must give back. So Matanza means I give the woman money. Says I got it courteously with this 100 shekels, with condition that you have to give me it back.
Where is it cut? Don't have me cut.
Good. Why not? If it's considered kesef or not. So it's kicha too.
No, but they
If it's kesef, it's kicha.
don't have nothing. They don't have the money. She wants the money because she wants to feel.
She wants to be a choir of money. Who says she wants the money?
No,
She wants to be a choir of money. Who says she wants the money?
She wants it after love. She
What?
wants me like, you know when someone says I'm worth this, she wants that worth.
Who said? But it depends on the perception. If even kesef it's worth of the money, you're right. But if kesef is not worth of the money, they're not worth of the woman. It's just a kinyan. So it's a kinyan. Acquires, and even it's worth for the moment. For the moment, she's got money, and then she because she wants to get married and engaged, so she agreed to receive it, and then she agreed also to give it back. And she needs to give it back. If she doesn't give it back, she never got it. But Lamaisa, it's her agreement to hold on to it in order to obligate it to give it back. So that her agreement to receive it, it's an agreement to receive money. So although there's no pleasure for her money, but she got money. She acquired it. At that moment when she makes a kinyan, before the second moment that she has to give it back, the first moment that she agrees to acquire, she acquired money or not. She got money. She will see the number, $1 billion in an account for 1 second. It's there, the number is there, and then she has to give it back. But she's got the money, she acquired it. So she got it. She got it with a condition, but she got it. 1 second. So Toisa says, in what way, listen, we're in the middle of to understand Shitas HaToises, then we can get back Shitas Toises and Rambam, then you can ask that didn't understand him. But first I want to get to Toises asking a question, in the middle is standing in the middle, doesn't know exactly what to shot. In what way Matonas La'achzir is similar to Chalipin? I know Chalipin doesn't work, but in what way it doesn't work? In what way Chalipin doesn't work? Or is Doimel Chalipin? Chalipin, you have to give it back. And money, Matonas La'achzir, you have to give it back. But it's not true, he says. Ravashi holds in the Dorim Memchetam and Beis. He has a side in the Gemara that Chalipin, Itofis Tamit, was allowed to hold on to it. So he answers that the demon was just a rabbinic demon. 1 second. Before.
You give the woman the kesef and then you turn it back, but there you are not the Kodesh.
Right. From the Torah, the Rambam holds. But we don't want not Tosfot. Tosfos wants to say that it's not a Doraisa law, it's a rabbinic law. That if I give a woman money with condition, Matomas La'achzir, Miderabonon is no good. Why? Because it's similar to Chalipin. 1 second. In what way is similar to Chalipin? Because since the Minagoilom, the custom of the world, is to give back the Chalipin, although you don't need to. So people look at it Chalipin. So therefore, since it looks like Chalipin, so the rabbis knocked it out. Really, it's money. Matam asked me, it's money. Because I got the money, just have an outside, it's an outside thing. It's mevatel the maisa, but I got a maisa. There's a maisa and a bitul at night. So since I received the money, and then I have an outside Kiddushin give it back, but I received the money. Midoraisa, it's money, and she give me cottage with money. Midoraita. It's only midarabanan. It looks like, appears the outside of it like Chalipin because orne Chalipin the midogoyim is to give it back. No, we didn't say that. No, we're not saying that. We're not saying that. No. This is something else. This says money, not Chalipin, money, dineros, plata, money that I give with condition. It's money. The Rabbanan made it similar to Chalipin. The Rabbanan because it's similar to Chalipin.
Very clear. Very clear, Rabbi.
You have to give it back. You don't need to give it back, but the order with Chalipin, the Mina Goyim is to give it back, so it looks like Chalipin.
Very good.
In the Mina Goyim world, it's similar to Chalipin, and Chalipin is out, so the rabbis don't knock it out. And people shouldn't say Chalipin works. They're so scared of Chalipin, that if I give money, and it looks like Chalipin, looks like the normal Chalipin with the Minog, even though it's not Be'etzem, because Al Pidin have to give back the Chalipin, but that's the Minog. So because of the Minog, it looks like Chalipin, the rabbis knocked it out. Teida. This is a state that you should know. Again,
Where are you reading? The Birkat Shmuel or Tosfos?
yes. Right. And the Chami also here, but they understood that by Kesef I can mafkia, not beer. The only problem with beer. But with Kesef it's simple.
From Pidioma Ben and Pidioma Ebed, from Tosfot,
Yes.
it doesn't work. But from Tosfot work to Megaresh.
One second, we'll get to it right now. Right now, I'm going to get to it this second. 1 second.
האישה לא קיבל חוב, כן?
כן.
אולי זה הבעיה, שהיא חושבת שלא קיבלתי חוב, אין לי חוב, לא צריך לשלם כלום, רק שלי זה הטרטו, בזמן שהדת הולך, אין קידושין.
עוד פעם, בכסף מה אתה רוצה להחזיר? או בחליפין?
מה שיש חליפין, האישה לא חייבת על כלום.
למה לא?
לא קיבלה כלום.
אין לה כלום.
למה אין לה? יש לה חליפין שופט פרוטו.
לא, אפילו חליפין, לא יודע, עם פציל, מקודשת, זהו, לא קיבל כלום.
למה לא קיבל כלום?
עם חליפין.
למה היא לא קיבלה? לפי רב שמעון שקופ, בחליפין היא רוצה שווי ושווי, היא רוצה את החליפין. Could be she wants, even if she wants, doesn't work. Shh, 1 second. Toisa stay down. Very good, yeah. Toisa says stay down, you should know. So Toisa says you should know that Matana Maslachzi by money, it's only Midarabonon, it doesn't work because it's similar to Chalipin of the Mina. Shh. But Teda, you should know, which means he's now fighting the Rambam, which is Teda, you should know, if you're not going to say like me, if you're going to say that Matom Maslachzir is Mamesh Chalipin, giving money to a woman, coin, giving money, silver to a woman, with a condition that Matom Maslachzir is Ke Chalipin, is Doimele Chalipin, but the demon is Doraisa Dinyoin, is not the Rabbonon. If you're not going to say like me, and therefore, if it's midora, if it's toime mamash, it's a midoraisa the mikudeshes. Teda, you should say. If you're not going to say like me, Teda, diike chalipin domu. If you want to say matonas lachzir by kesef, it's toime lechalipin. It's not exera de rabbonon. It's toime lechalipin. And imeiles the midoraisa is no good. Bemecher. Why Ravashi says that by mecher, by buying land, and I give kesef, matonas lachzir, does work. Alatmuro chlipin shove b'shove. It's like slips like chlipin shove b'shove. cannot be. How can Ravashi holds that maton vaslachzir is koine bemecher because it's mamish and it's chalipin mamish. It's not a gzera of chalipin. It's toimel chalipin just by yishas out by mecher chalipin works too. Kesef chalipin work. It's not possible because it's mamish chalipin. Aech koine ba'imone oein mavden chalipin. Ravashi should admit to la halacha that mabea cannot become chalipin. And since matbea canal here, I gave money matom slachzi. So how can be chalipin? It's a kasha and a Rambam. How can the Rambam says matom slachzi is not koine because it's chalipin is not koine midoraisa? How can matbea become chalipin? Matbea is chalipin. What we see from exactly the Shleimei said the good deal that we've been dying this morning. That we see from Toisves that Toisves didn't have a problem in Svara. The matonas la'achzir and chalipin are the same. In general, problem the money cannot be chalipin because then and not ben chalipin. But mitzad the timyoin could be. Mimele, what do we see? That although Toys of Gimel said that chalipin is kinyan acher, it's only in ma'asekicha of Kiddushin. It's a kinyan acher. But by mecher, chalipin, it's kesef. And if matona la'achzir by kesef is chalipin, so it's kesef and it works. Only a problem that kesef matbea nice chalipin. It's a side problem. There's a problem, but it doesn't have a problem. How can kesef matonas lachzi can be chalipin? Chalipin is kinyan acher. It's not kesef. It doesn't have that problem. He doesn't have this problem. He only has a problem of what? That then matbea nice chalipin. We see Shat and Toisa, like I said, according to the Kashmir, which we didn't say it yet, Magdi the Mucho, that we see that when Toisa says in Daf Gimel that Chalipin is kinyan acher, it's only by kich of Kiddushin, but not kol kulo. Chalipin is really kesef. It's not kinyan acher. Only in kich of Kiddushin is out. One second, we'll see. Let's continue on. V'chen b'pinyan haben, Toisa continues. V'chen b'pinyan haben, lama yebno padui. He's attacking the Rambam. You the Rambam says, or you those Rishonim hold that by kesef, by maton la'achzir, by kesef doesn't work. The isha because it's mamish chalipin, doesn't work by isha, and by pidyon haben, kesef maton la'achzir, it's chalipin. If that's true, it's chalipin. That's how it works. Not true. Lama yebno podi b'chalipin. Aloi kesef chamesh eskolim ksiv aloi chalipin. What is he asking? There's a xeras akosu by pidyon haben that says kesef chamesh eskolim, and the chamesh eskolim needs to be kesef. So since the Torah wrote kesef, how do I know that chalipin can produce the pedira? So I'm explaining here. I'm kvetching here that although chalipin is kesef b'kol Torah kulo, but in the world of kicha or in the world of pedira, as Chaim Alevi says, pedira by poide evet knaini, or in the world of pidyon haben, and it says kesef chamesh eskolim, who says there mistamon says kesef the Torah is makpid kesef chamesh eskolim. That is not any other type. That's in the Torah says kesef chamesh eskolim. It's a chamesh eskolim, and I know kesef has many sugim, so all type of kesef, even chalipin, shove b'shove can be kesef. No, it says kesef plata silver chamesh eskolim. So the Torah is makpid when you do pidyon haben and pidyon haben. There is makpid kesef, not chalipin, not this type sug of kesef. It's another sug of kesef. So in Meile, it's not a stick to Toises. You can say really Toises and Daf Gimel holds that we say chalipin is kinyan acher. He's not saying kol Torah kulo chalipin is kinyan acher. Really, kibi kol Torah kulo chalipin is kesef, but only in kich of Kiddushin is kinyan acher because it's not Bosho Puto. And here by pidyon haben, it also doesn't exist in the xeras of pedia of kesef chamesh eskolim. What about pidyon even? Like the Rambam, the Raven. The Raven says it works. The Rambam says no. In pedia it doesn't work. Once again, by mecher, Toshas did have a problem that how can kesef matonas la'achzir can be chalipin and kesef to the kinyonim. He's not asking that. He's just asking how can chalipin become with money and matbea I say chalipin. But it Toshas didn't have a problem be'etzem that kesef chalipin are two different kinyonim. Must be that Toshas also that really chalipin it is kesef mitzat kol Torah kulo. only in special parshas of Ma'aseh of Kiddushin, Pidyon Aben, maybe also by Pidyon Evedivri, as he says, as the Bikra Shmuel says, that there's a Gzeras HaKos of P'tiyah, in the Gzeras of P'tiyah, maybe Chlipe Kesef, it doesn't work in the Gzeras of P'tiyah, because it's a special Gzeras HaKos. But the Kol HaTorah Kula is the same.
You know, so when I'm just based on
Yes,
Shabbat Kesef, Kesef.
yes,
He said Shabbat Kesef, Kesef.
yes. One second. That's not true. That was the Havamina. But since you said the word Chalipin, and Chalipin has his own dinim, as he mentioned, Koine Bekli, Leshobe Pruto, as his own dinim. So when I said the word Chalipin, bam, 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 it changed the internal format, the internal way how this kinyan would work. Like the Reb Shimon Shkop said, there's two different internal ways. According to Birkas Shmuel, has different dinim. I won't say internal way how it works, but has different dinim. You can say, all like Reb Shimon, that the Birkas Shmuel agrees that the machinery works different, but he cares about dinim. In the dinim, he says different dinim. So Mele, who says in the parsha of Kiddushin, this second din under the din of Kesef would work in the parsha of Kicha. Same thing as parsha of Pidyon of Evet. Same thing parsha of Pidyon Aben. Yes, because he brings a pasuk. Says Kesef Chamesh Askolim. Yes. Yes. Even Shvei Kesef Kesef. But it's only in Kesef. But when I say the word Chalipin is out, it's out because there's different dinim of Chalipin. It's another Shvei Kesef. It's a different din of another Shvei Kesef. It is Shvei Kesef, but because when the Torah is Makpid Kesef Chamesh Askolim by Pidyon Aben, we say Chalipin is out, Shvei Kesef in, Shvei Kesef Kesef yes, but Chalipin of Shvei Kesef doesn't work.
Why?
Because the Torah said Kesef Chamesh Askolim. So you understand? It's like a Torah says Kika. Well, who says by Kika doesn't work? Because Lemekana Nafsho says out. And he understands his Torah says Kesef Chamesh Askolim, which means that the Chamesh Askolim needs to be Kesef, silver. There's Makpid and not Chalipin. Yes.
No, Tosfot is have a contradiction in himself because he say that Chalipin
It's Kinyan Acher.
Mekadesh Isha, but Chalipin don't work to Pidyon Aben or Pidyon Ma'ivri.
He didn't say Mekadesh. It was the Havamina that Chalipin works by Isha. Havamina. I didn't say Havamina. Havamina that Chalipin works. The Maskona doesn't. Chalipin doesn't work by Isha.
When I say before that only to buy a soul or the person every Pidyon Aben or Shah, only the money with them.
Correct.
And if you want to
Only that mean dam. Yes. Yes. Lemaisa, you're right. What?
I understand this.
Yes, but not fully. Just the outside. The klipa. You have to learn the fruit. You have to work a little bit more to know the fruit. Okay. But you're getting there, Baruch Hashem. What? Right. See if you learn this living Kenyan. So I'm asking you a kasha on Toises. If Toises means to say that Chalipin's Kenyan Kesef is a Kenyan Acher, but Kol HaTorah Kulo, so why Toises says Teda that Kesef Matamas Lachzi, if it's Chalipin, so how can Kesef work as Chalipin? You should have asked, how can Kesef Matamas Lachzi be Chalipin? Chalipin is a Kenyan Acher. You don't have a problem with that. The only problem with Kesef as a Chalipin must be that in concept, only in Kichin Kiddushin Chalipin is Kenyan Acher. And also takes in Giti Lametes that we bought last week. Yes, Taisus Lametes says Chalipin is Kesef. Not true. He just says Chalipin Acher. You can say two Balet Toises, but he's maybe two Masechtes. He can say Balet Toises, Gitin and Kiddushin. But this is Kiddushin 5 pages later, 4 pages later. How can it be a contradiction in Toises? What do you want to say, Mendel? And then hop again. Why? What?
That's how they make Kiddushin and just say it has to be more than another person, and that's it. Why do we have to ban it all together? Because by standards, you don't need a certain.
You could, Chachon could have solved it by saying, really, Chalipin Shobe Pruto will be still Kesef, and Chalipin Lesser Shobe Pruto will be out of Kesef, and the parshas of Kiikach of Kesef. But you can say the Svara of Rabbeinu Tam and the Chalek Bekinyan. Chazal understood that if I put things on a scale, it's better in the Svara Satir, what the Torah meant in Kich and Kiddushin. What the Torah meant? What is Kiikach? How do you take a woman? So the Torah understood that there be all types of Kesef, or since one type of Kesef has some problems with it, so the Torah exclude totally this type of Kesef in the Kicha. In the Svara of Chazal, how to learn the Gzeras HaKosu of Kicha, it's a better way. Like the Rishonim say, Lachari Bekinyan, some Rishonim weren't happy. They said it's only Din Rabbonon, not Doraisa. But a lot of Rishonim, Rabbeinu Tam, the Pnei Yeshua and Rashi, you know, it's a Svara Doraisa, Svara Gzeras HaKosu. That, understand? Would avoid if the Tev Chazal understood that that's a better way to learn the Torah. Understood it's a better way to Torah. The Torah never meant that. The Torah says, take a woman only with the money, and any money which is not mamish money, another type of money which has some problems in it for a woman is out of the taking. We're saying that's what we're saying. The whole piece we're bringing the Birkat Shmuel is to adapt. Although the Birkat Shmuel doesn't speak on Toys, it speaks the Rambam and Ravid. We want to adapt. That's all the Kiddush of this shir is. We want to adapt this concept of the Birkat Shmuel and Toysves. Just we had a problem with it. That Toys Navov doesn't say so. The Toys says like Pidin Ben Kesef with Matonas Lachzir cannot be Chalipin because the Torah said Kesef and not Chalipin. But Chalipin is Kesef. What's his problem? I'm saying the Gzeras HaKosu opinion. That's the kash against me, against to adopt the Birkat Shmuel. And Toys says how do you fit Toys Navov? That's what I'm trying to, the last 10 minutes to answer. And I bring in a proof from the beginning of Toyses. Since Toyses, when you talk about Mecher, you only had a problem that Chalipin cannot be Kesef Matom Nas Lachzir because and Kesef Naise and Matbea Naise Chalipin. But you have a problem concept that Chalipin and Kesef Tupin Kenyonim. So it must be that is really the same. Kol HaTorah is the same, only in the Pash of Kiikach. But I found the next part of Toyses. Toyses says, and by Pidin Ben, the Torah says Kesef and not Chalipin. But Chalipin is Kesef. Now, how do you, what is a contradiction to itself? How do you read? So I'm saying, no. In the Gzeras HaKosu of Pidin Ben, that it says Kesef Chamesh Shkolim, the Torah says the Chamesh Shkolim is to be Kesef. The Torah says, he says like this. I'm reading the words. V'chem Pidin Ben Lama Yevnoi Podi B'Chalipin Aloi Kesef Chamesh Shkolim Ksiv Eloi Chalipin. So the Torah is Madgish, you know what Madgish points out that the Chamesh Shkolim is to be Kesef. It's mashma bedafka. Not any other type. But really elsewhere, like we see in Parshas of Pidyon, the Rambam holds that Chalipin, even Shomer v'Shomer, doesn't make Heus of Isur, only Shiabun. Because you hold that although Chalipin mitam kes, he says Efsha, and Birkat Shmuel. You saw the Birkat Shmuel. The Shmuel says that although by Pidyon, really the Rambam holds Chalipin can be mitam kesef by Shomer v'Shomer. But by the Parsha of Kedia, the Rambam argues in the Ravid, and in the Parsha of Kedia, like the Parsha Skicha, Parsha Kedia is an exception. So I'm saying Parsha Pidin Ben, there's Kesef Shkolim is out, but anywhere else is out. Parsha Skicha is out. So I want to adopt Toysves with the same line of the Birkat Shmuel and the Rambam in the Rambam in the Ravid. That's all I did. But I had a kash in the Vov, and I answered it. That's the whole shir is about. Exactly. You have the point. That's when I'm struggling to try to explain to people what's the problem and give you an answer that you can really adopt it and put in the same way. Yes. Yes, it is. It is a bit. You understand. Your souls understand. But I want to tell you, what do you want to say, Rabbi Yoshua? Yes. Yes. Correct. That's what we're going to adapt the Birkat Shmuel to Toysves. That's all. That's the Kiddush of the Shir. That's the whole point. And I want to read the last paragraph, guys. Just want to finish the Rabbi and say Mussar Shmuz. Yes, as well. Only a parsha of Kicha, Ezel Lechal Bekin is out. But anywhere else, Kesef Skicha, yes. Yes. So then Rabbeinu Tam in his book and Rabbeinu Tam and our Toys are the same. And Toys and Kiddushin and Gittin is the same. The Rabbi is the same. It sounds everywhere. It's the best shot if you follow the Birkas Shmuel. I want to see the last paragraph of the Birkas Shmuel. Right before base is a paragraph. Which we didn't read, so I want to read it again. Inside.
Wait.
In the Birkas Shmuel, the last paragraph of Aleph.
That starts Shuv, nearly the Takun. There?
How much line?
You're talking about Simon Aleph?
אתה רואה בייס, הפרגרף before, ואומר. בדיוק שם, איפה שהאצבע שלך. כן. ואומר מורי ורבי זיע. The BMS really truly, דין כסף הוא דווקא, אם אינו המנס להחזיק את האמור. Really, the truth is, kesef, the din of kesef, it's only when it's not with condition to give back. Elo. So why kesef, matom lachzik works? By sode. Elo de me'achar shenemro ha'alocha de Chalipin gam kekoine midin kesef. Once we said ha'alocha kol ha'torah kulo Chalipin, it's also koine midin kesef. Two, from now on, Yalfinim, we learn Gam Kesef Michalipin. Not only Chalipin learns from Kesef, it goes both ways. Also Kesef learns from Chalipin. The Mehani Bogam Matamas Lachzi. That's the way the Rambam learns. Why Kesef Matamas Lachzi works? Midoraisa. Not by Kiddushin, by Karka. Why it works? Go to the Rambam. Why? Because Chalipin is midin kesef, but also kesef is midin Chalipin. Kesef learns from Chalipin that the same way Chalipin works al menas la'achzi. Also kesef, which is like Chalipin is like kesef, it goes both sides. Chalipin is learned from kesef that me'ani bo gamatos la'achzi. No, it's not kesef achoyz.
You keep the money, get back.
Kesef achoyz is a different world. Even achoyz means when I do a kinyan kesef, I picked up the kesef because of Shemich Kop, I create a chiyuv. And
these words, I give guess, I give it back.
I'm not give back. Yes. The Raisa works. Yeah, that's the Rambam holds me. The Raisa works only by Kiddushin. The Raisa is out. The half the linyan Porsche Beputo. Even reference to the law of lesser Beputo. Lo yalfina midin Chalipin kesef. We don't learn that since Chalipin is midin kesef by Shobeputo, let Chalipin Porsche Beputo learn from kesef. That is choshu. We machshiv it as like some rishonim. We saw the Ramban and the Rashban Tshuva says it's like chashiv. The Teres Xerasakozim Teres machshiv kesef says those rishonim hold no is out. I know mishum it is because the zeu ikar din kesef because ikara ma'afyen in Hebrew say the main describe of the character of kesef. The ikar means the main din, the main law that defines kesef, sheyesho bepruto. And on the main law, I cannot learn one from another, so that I destroy the character. Although Chalipin is dam kesef, it's only a limun midin, but it doesn't destroy the character of kesef and Chalipin, each one his own character. And if I would say that kesef, even lesho bepruto, it works, it's at chashivas and all the measure, so I destroy the ikar character of kesef, and that I cannot. That Chazal understood that the dimyo, the alfuso, the binyanav, the bemetzinu is not there. Lo yavir midin Chalipin yan kesef. Ainu mishum dizeu ikar din kesef sheyesho bepruto. But the other dinim which don't define the ikar character of kesef. Aber the din matomas la'achzir, which is the ano of the kesef, but not the kinyan. I got kesef, I was coined it. And then I have to give it back, but I was coining it. Mitzad the king is king kesef doesn't destroy the character of kesef, and I got a shiur of puta there, so you don't have to know. Ooh, aladin mator zaazi alfinim shapi le kesef the moy bogamken. We learned also by kesef that works if it's not kiddushin. Now ken so over Rambam, therefore the Rambam holds the gam matomas laazi me'ani madani gam mechim midoraisa arei hu din Chalipin. It's a law of Chalipin. V'nilman midin Chalipin, that kesef, Matan I learned from Chalipin. Because Chalipin is kesef. And kesef can Chalipin too. As long as I don't destroy the Iker Din, the character, the main character of kesef. Val Kain Beisho, that's by Mecher. But by a woman, the same way she cannot decide, I want lesser Shobaputo because destroys the character of Kesef of Kicha. Migzeras Akosu, the Ben Maisa Kiddushin. In the Maisa Kiddushin, she cannot say, I want Midin Kesef, I want to be coined myself with a Kli lesser Shobaputo because that's what I want. In the Maisa Kiddushin, I don't care what you want. Gam Matonas La'achzi, also Matonas La'achzi, but doesn't work by her. Midin Kicha. Keimon Delonin Madelemidin Chalipin. Since that Kesef is being learned from Chalipin, I can't. Chalipin is out. Ad kan divrei moi berabis. So Lemaise, Reb Chaim Alevi said that why Matonas La'achzi by Mecha works by Kesef, although Kesef needs to have Kesef that I'm koine, I'm nene from it, and I give it back with conditions I'll never have from it, and even it's only it's about you, but you're not give, but it's not what the business with us is about. I want to have anor entirely from the group of the Kesef, not momentarily. So therefore, and first of all, it's a shaila if I can have or not shovaputa, anor or not, but even if I have, it's not what the deal is about. The deal is to get anor from the Kesef itself. Kesef that I don't have because I have a condition to give it back. So it says, but by Mecha works, Matonas La'achzi by getting Kesef. I can buy land with Kesef, Matonas La'achzi. Why? Because I learned from Chalipin. And it doesn't destroy the Iker character of Kesef. But in the world of my Sikich of Kiddushin of Kesef, there I don't learn Kesef, Chalipin cannot learn from Kesef. That Chalipin, less Shobaputu would work mitzat Kesef of my Sikich of Kiddushin, because Lemkan Nafsho, and therefore is out. And even Kesef, Matonas La'achzi, if I give a woman Kesef, Matonas La'achzi is also out midoraisa. Because even Kesef Matonas La'achzi is not working within Kesef. It's working because Kesef is learned from Chalipin. And since Kicha of Kiddushin cannot learn Kesef of Chalipin, that can learn from Chalipin, because Chalipin is out of Kesef of Kicha. Again, Matonas La'achzi by Kesef is being learned from Chalipin. Because it doesn't destroy the character of Chalipin. Less of it destroys. But a Maisik Kich of Kiddushin, if I give a woman Matonas La'achzi mitzad Maisik Kich of Kiddushin, doesn't work according to the Rambam Midorai. So why? Because since Matonas La'achzi by Kesef, Kol HaTorah is being learned from Chalipin, so also Kesef of Kich of Kiddushin by Matonas La'achzi, I didn't learn from Chalipin. And since Chalipin is out by Kiddushin totally, it's a Kinyan Acher, it's not part of the Gzeras HaKosu, it's out because it works in Leshon Reputo, it's Luni Kadnav, so it's out. As Alan Sun is out of the Parsha of Kicha, of Kesef Kicha. Email also Kesef and Matonas La'achzi that I need to learn that Kesef Kula from Chalipin doesn't work by Kicha of Maisik Kicha of Kiddushin. That's what Reb Chaim Alevi said. Aray! Conclusion. Aray the Chazil Midvar, we see from the words of my Rebbe. The Gandina Pruto, also the law of the Pruto. Loi levad mishum kinyenu the ba'inon. I don't need it only alone kemo mekachomemka from the law of mekachomemka to rekulon. El migzeras hakosu desh bazemaise kiddushi. I need the pruta also from not alone. Before he said only, now he says not alone, means both. That's I always explain both. You have two layers, not one layer. Different layer, two layers. He says loi milvad. So loi levad mishum kemo el migzeras hakosu. The yesh was a Maisa Kiddushin, that there is a Maisa Kiddushin in it. The Leke Pruta a Maisa Kiddushin, and also Matonas La'achzi is like a Maisa Kiddushin, because Matonas La'achzi, even by case according to Kula works within Chalipin, and Chalipin is out by Maisa Kiddushin, and all things out. So that's what we have here, and Mimelu we can adopt this Birka Shmuel also to Rabbeinu Tam and Toises, that Chalipin only by Maisa Kiddushin is Kriyan Acher, because we're going to put but Chalipin can be midin Kesef by Mecher, and what? And okay, only besides Peter Naben, Toisa says is out. and by pidyon of Eved, Toisus holds like the Ravid. Toisus Lametet and Gittin learns like the Ravid that if the woman would give the kumta, would be Caleb shel koine to the makna to the master, because Chalipin is vitam kesef, and will be also and it should be put will be now we break the monetary psad the shiabut also put the isu because mamash kesef because kol atarekul Chalipin is kesef. Only in the parsha of Kiddushin is out, and only in the parsha of Pidyon Aben is out. But in the parsha of Pidyon of Avevet Knaini, those is holds like the Rebbe, not like the Rambam. La 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 la. La 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 la. All right, and that's all.
For their redemption.
Again,
You say the Rabbi holds that a woman could give.
not a woman, a slave can be redeemed. Evet Kanaini can be redeemed with Chalipin to the level that not only breaks his monetary connection with his master, the shiabud of money, of mammon, he also can break the kinyan isurim that he has in it. His yotzel lechevos. Because he holds Chalipin as kesef. Although the Torah said only kesef can break both the kinyan mammon and kinyan isur, but Chalipin is kesef. And the Rambam holds, although Chalipin is kesef, but in the parsha of Pniyah, Chalipin is not mamash ki kesef, doesn't break these. And Toysus and Gittin Lametet learns like the Rabbi. That's what we said. But really, all the same explanation and everything good. And also, Rabbi added very good. There also have no steer between Rabbeinu Tam in his book and Rabbeinu Tam and Toysus. Rabbeinu Tam in his book says Chalipin is kesef. Just here, L'chalik Bekinyan means only here in the parsha of Kich is out. Rabbeinu Tam in the book, Rabbeinu Tam here, Kinyan means only in Ma'aseh Kich of Kiddushin. Everything is good. Okay, Mussar. I want to talk about something very important, very deep, and very serious. Okay? Very deep, very serious. People have to listen to this well because you can make a mistake in my words. So you have to be very careful what I'm saying. The Gemara in Sanhedrin, which I want to explain. No, 5 minutes, because we're going to finish in 5 minutes. Listen careful. Okay. The Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin. The Gemara says, brings an opinion. This Gemara, very important Gemara. It's in Daf. Daf Chof Aleph Amud Beis. Chof Aleph Amud Beis. The Gemara says, Omar Rav Chizda, Omar Marzutro V'Teima Marukva. There's 2 opinions in the Gemara, very important opinions. When Hashem gave us the Torah, under what language and writings He gave us the Torah? Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, said the name of Elazar ben Parta, the name of Rabbi Elazar Amoidoi. They learned that the language and the writing never changed. Only in the middle people forgot and they brought it back. But really it was never changed. Always the Torah was given in Ksav Ashuris, the writing of Ashuris that we have today, in the Sefer Torah, and the language was Lashon HaKodesh. And the Ran and Rabbeinu Hanan hold, in Masechet Megillah, that this is the Ikar Halacha. This is our tradition, Ikar Halacha. But Rashi, Geroinim, and many other Rishonim learn not so. And Daf Chof Aleph Amud Beis below, the last 6-7 lines at the bottom. So Mazut, the name of Maruka, says no. Something very strange. I want to explain this, that opinion, we're not soiser, what we have in tradition, we have in Kabbalah, the concept of Tanta, those know what I mean. Explain a little bit more, a little bit in a few seconds, a few minutes. Very important to understand what I'm saying. So Marzutra and Marukva, they say, I'm going to read the language. In the beginning, the Torah was given in writings of Hebrew writings, which is if you go to the city of David, who'll give you a piece of paper to show you all the alphabet, is not totally similar to alphabet. There's different ways. It's the whole writing of the old writings of the Hebrews, Ktav Ivri. The Torah was given in Ktav Ivri, Veloshon HaKodesh in the holy language, holy tongue. Chosro went back. The Nisim Ezra was given in the days of Ezra. B'Ksav Ashuris, the shape of the letters was the letters of the language of Ashuris, but the language, the Loshon Arami, but the Jewish people, Birulem Israel, Ksav Ashuris, Loshon HaKodesh. V'inichol Edyoitos, they left the stupid, meaning the simple people, the Kutites, the Shomronites, with Ksav, Ivri, and Loshon Arami. Again, so there's three stages. Torah was given, according to Rav Marukva, Marzuta Marukva, Torah was given Ksav Ivri, and Loshon HaKodesh. That's the word was given. And went back, Ezra gave Ksav Ashuris and Loshon Arami. So two things change. In the time of the Torah was Ksav Ivri and Loshon HaKodesh. Ezra changed the Loshon and changed the Ksav. He changed from Ksav Ivri to Ksav Ashuris, and he changed from Loshon Arami to Loshon HaKodesh. I mean, from Loshon HaKodesh to Loshon Arami, because that was the common language. The Jewish people accepted the change of the Ksav of Ezra from Hebrew to Ksav Ashuris. Birulem Israel, they decide that the Ksav Ashuris of Ezra, the change from Ivri to Ashuris, is the right Ksav. But the language, they didn't change to Arami, they changed for Loshon HaKodesh, and the Joitos, they left the Ksav Ivri and the Loshon Aramis, which is the Kuti. This is the Gemara. The Gemara brings the riots. Ezra, according to this, he changed two things. He changed the shape of the letters from Ksav Ivri to Ksav Ashuris, and he changed the language from Loshon HaKodesh to Loshon Arami. Yes. Good. And the Jewish people made a emtsa. They birulem Israel, the Ksav, they accepted from Ezra, and the language they accepted from Moshe. The Ksav is from Ezra, and the language from Moshe, Loshon HaKodesh. And the Joitos and the Shomronites of Ksav Ivri and Loshon Aramis. What? Correct. And the Jewish people accepted Ezra's writing, Ksav Ashuris, and didn't accept his language, when the language of Moshe, Loshon HaKodesh. Yes. No, people let me Israel, Ksav Ashuris, Loshon HaKodesh. But what Ezra gave them? Loshon Arami. So they accept the shape of the letters, but didn't accept the language. But the language that went back to Moshe, Loshon HaKodesh. This is what it says in the Gemara. Good. All the Rishonim, the Ramban, Rashbo, the Goinim, the leftover Ksav Ivri Loshon Arami. Kuti, the Gemara says Shomronim, the Shomronites. Okay. All the Rishonim attack this, and they talk very long about it, to the level that the Ran in Rabbeinu Hanana holds that it's not our tradition. Our tradition is the second opinion of Rav Shimon ben Lozor. As I mentioned before, he holds that the Ksav never changed. Just in the middle, people forgot. But really, the Ksav of Moshe Rabbeinu and the language never changed is always what we have. Yes. The Radbaz and the Maram El Shakar, yes, they want to make a chiluk on this. The Radbaz and the Maram El Shakar. They want to say like this, very important. They want to say, because of a lot of kashas, and they want to make a difference between Luchos Rishonos and Luchos Shiros. Sorry, this is the last for the Rambaz. The beginning of the Rambaz and the Aram El Shakar wants to say that there's a chiluk between the public and the Yochid. Moshe Rabbeinu gave Aseret Adibros, and the Secretary wrote, and it stood inside the ark. That was Ksav Ashuris and Loshon HaKodesh. But Moshe Rabbeinu he wrote a Sefer Torah to Shevet Levi, and he wrote it to the Am Yisrael. For Am Yisrael, when he gave the Am Yisrael the Torah, that what it says, Nikna, he gave to Am Yisrael, he gave them Loshon Ivri, Ksava Ivri, and Loshon HaKodesh. And why? What's the Svar of Aram El Shakar and the Radbaz? He says, after the Chet HaEgel, after the sin of the golden calf, the Jewish people went down from the Madrega. And Mimela, they went down from the Madrega, from the level, and were only able to get, this is B'siyad Shemay, only able to receive the Loshon HaKodesh, but not the Ksav. All the secrets in the Ksav, as we know in Kabbalah, there's a lot of secrets in the Tzur. Every word in the Torah is Shem is HaKodesh, and you have a lot of Tzirufim, and names of Hashem are mixed everywhere there. There's 72 names, and all the names are mixed in there. And we have a concept in Kabbalah called Tanta. Tanta is Tagim, Tanta. Tagim, Ta'amim, Nekudot, Otiyot. You know what that mean in English? Ta'amim means what? Tagim. Tagim means the crowns. Nun is Nekudot, dots. Then you have Ta'amim. So we have one taf for Tagim, Tagim with the taf, and the Tamta, the tet in the end is Ta'amim. Ta'amim means the singing. Merchot Ipcho, Revi, Ta'amim, and then we have Aleph Tamta as Oisios. And everything in those things represents 4 worlds, represents Kalim, Oirois. There's a lot of parts what it represents. Okay? There's a whole world in Kabbalah how they break the dots, the crowns. And one way the Gemara says that Moshe Rabbeinu went down and he saw Rabbi Akiva Doiresh, Tilei Tilim, and Ktorim of the Oisos, he didn't understand what's about. So the simple because he didn't have that Ksav. But everybody says not possible. Not possible. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't have the Ksav. He didn't have the Drosh, he had the Shoyrish of the Drosh. So the Radbaz and others explain that really when Moshe Rabbeinu, he got the Torah, he got in Ksav Ashuris and Loshon HaKodesh. But when he gave to the Jewish people, the Israel, since they had the Chet HaEgel, went down in Madrega, so he had to give them in Ksav Ivri and Loshon HaKodesh. All the droshes of Rabbi Akiva. He didn't have, he had the shoyrish, he had the roots. But he didn't have all the expansion of the droshes of Rabbi Akiva. That's why he couldn't understand what he's saying. No. He crowned crowns to the letters of the Torah. Whatever it means. But it's definitely in the shape of Ksav Ashuris, not Ksav Ivri. So let's go back here. So according to the Maram El Shakar and the Ridbaz, really, definitely, it's not that the halacha is like the opinion of Rab Shimon ben Elazar, like the Rabbeinu Hanan Nera. Really, Moshe Rabbeinu got in Mamad Har Sinai a Sefer Torah and a Sefer Dibrois before Chet HaEgel was in Ksav Ashuris, and even after Chet HaEgel, what he wrote inside the temple, in the Mishkan, was Ksav Ashuris Loshon HaKodesh. But when he gave Am Yisrael, because they were on a lower level, he gave Ksav Ivri and Loshon HaKodesh. That's what they want to say. But the Radbaz has a kasha, and he found Yerushalmi Megillah Perek Aleph Halacha Tes, which I checked it inside. Yerushalmi says that if the Torah was given in Ksav Ivri, so the Nes was not in Mem and Samach. It's not Mem and Samach, but Nes ayu imdim. It's Ayin. Because how do you write Ayin in Ksav Ivri? It's like a triangle. Triangle is an Ayin. Triangle is an Ayin. Ayin is a tzur of Mishulash. A triangle. So only Ayin was Benes ayu imdim. But Mem and Samach was open, and Mimele there was no Nes. So we see that even the Luchas was given. So how can the Rambaz and Maram El Shakar say, according to this opinion, of Rabbi Rukven Marzuto, that really the Luchas and the Sefer Torah was given on Ksav Ashuris and Loshon HaKodesh, So he's in Samach and Mem. No. The Gemara says only Ayin was Benes. So he answers no. The Radbaz answers that Luchas Shniyos and the Sefer Torah was really in Ksav Ivri. But the Luchas Arishonos is very hard. That's very hard. And I checked in the Yerushalmi. This is what I want to say in public here. One Yesoid. That Luchas Arishonos and also the Sefer Torah was in Ksav Ashuris and Loshan HaKodesh. Only Luchas Hashniyos, he adds some Luchas Hashniyos to the Sefer Torah that Moshe Rabbeinu wrote. I want to cut it. I say yes, Luchas Hashniyos. The only the Ayin was Benes, but the Sefer Torah that he wrote and he put in Aron HaKodesh, that definitely was Ksav Ashuris and also Ksav Ashuris Loshan HaKodesh. So Mele, we have two avenues. Or that our tradition is like Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, like the Rabbeinu Hananel, or that Luchas Rishonos and the Sefer Torah Moshe before the Chet HaEgel, or the Sefer Torah even after Luchas Rishonos and the Sefer Torah that he wrote that he put in the Mishkan is really Loshan Ksav Ashuris and Loshan HaKodesh. But when he gave it to Am Yisrael, he gave Ksav Ivri and Loshan Arami. And you should know when they found the Ezi and Yedis Eliyahu silver, when they found the Megillot in Yam HaMelach and Qumran, yes, what they found that they wrote the whole Torah in Ksav Ivri, but Shem Hashem Yud Kei Vav Kei they wrote in Ksav Ashuris. Which means we see that the world at that time understood that the holy language, the holy Ksav, the Ksav Ashuris. It's a chizuk to the Radbaz and the Maram El Shakar. They were the Asians. They used to go to the mikveh all day long. They felt that the Shem Hashem, they are Kodosh, and they can write, and the Ksav Ashuris, the Shiyut Kei Vav Kei. But also the Torah is written in Ksav Ivri. But the Shem Hashem is in Ksav Ashuris. But really the Sefer Torah Moshe, and all the secrets that we have is all in Ksav Ashuris and Loshan HaKodesh. But it's not my Mussar Shush. This was their Chagah. And I said I want to say it in public. I want to take the next Gemara. I want to explain something here. Rich. Yes. Pirul Israel. No, today Pirul in Israel Ksav Ashuris, which means the Jewish people felt that when they went back to the Kedusha, and they used the Ksav Ashuris and Loshan HaKodesh. Like the olden days, like the original thing. Yes, because the part of the Chay has been forgiven. The Gemara says every generation Hashem takes off, and they felt the time of Ezra has enough been taken off, and it's enough that Jewish people go back to the level of Kedusha, of Ksav Ashuris and Loshan HaKodesh. But I want to explain something very important, which the Gemara says, brings a pasuk, why Ezra the scribe was zoiche to be in a level to bring back Ksav Ashuris to the public. What changed? And this is what I want to give. No, that's what I thought is my scene. Yes, that is not the reason. Let's see what the Torah says. I'm reading now inside. And Afchafalef Amud Beis. The Gemara says, 4 lines on the bottom. Ezra ola mi Bovel. Ma aliyah mur kan Torah, af aliyah mur lon Torah. B'moishu oimer, oisi tziva Hashem ba'isi lamed, b'chukim u'shpotim. U'be'ezra oimer, ki Ezra ichin levovoi lidrosh. It's Torah Hashem. I want to explain what is the concept, ichin levovoi lidrosh, which Hashem Eloikov, ve'laso is v'lilmo b'Yisrael, chukim u'shpotim. The Tanat Veli Rabbi Elazar says, Moshe Zocha v'Zicha. In order for Moshe Rabbeinu to be Zoiche, to redeem the Jewish people, to be the Mashiach of his generation, he had to push himself. The Medrash says, Tanat Veli says, David HaMelech dochak atzmoi. He pressed himself and he was Zoiche to Mezak. In order to be the leader of the Jewish people and give them the redemption, it's not enough that you're a big Talmid Chacham. It's not enough. It's not enough that you have good midos. It's not enough you have to prepare yourself and you have to press yourself to win. It says by Ezra Soifer, it says like this. Ki Ezra ichi levavoy. Ezra prepared his heart. Lidroish es Torah Hashem. To learn Torah. He prepared his heart. He knew he has to take responsibility to be the leader of the Jewish people. To learn how do you become a leader, you have to know Kol HaTorah Kula. Yes, you don't know, you have to know. Velasois. Ulalabe Israel. Chokum Mishpot. To do and to teach, which means to implement it. To do and to teach that the Jewish people will change, allow the non-Jewish wives and accept not to sell on Shabbos, and to change them, and to form a new nation, even a new letters, a new ksav, which is really new old. So he was zoiche because he prepared himself. He prepared himself and he pushed himself to do that. It's very important. When we have in yeshiva Talmidei Chachamim, or people learn Torah, so now, what do you want to become? A Ram, Rosh Yeshiva, a leader? It's now. What is in your mind now? In your mind right now, that you have to know all Kiddushin, and any page they ask the Kiddushin, you know, and all the sugas you know in depth, because you take a responsibility. Lidrois das Hashem, lasos ulelamed. It's part of the kavanah, as Napoleon said. A soldier that doesn't have in mind to become a general is not a good soldier. A ben Torah, that when he learns Torah doesn't become a leader, means he doesn't take responsibility to know the halacha, to implement the halacha is a chison yerushamayim, but it also chison, he's not going to have the ability and the schus to become a leader. And that's the Mussar asking. The Mussar asking, look what Ezra did. Ezra was like Moshe Rabbeinu. He had the same schus, and Lulei Shemoshe Kodmoi, and were given to Torah to be given by Ezra. And Ezra had the schus to bring back the old letters, the holy letters before Chet HaEgel. He was able to live the Jewish people to bring them back to the level before Chet HaEgel, and to bring the tzibur and the yechidim like the Torah that Moshe Rabbeinu wrote in the Oroi, and the Luchas HaRishonos was given. The Ksav, the Loshoim. Wow, what a schus! It's all because he prepared himself. It's a big Mussar asking. How much we have to learn now when you learn Torah in yeshiva. Now, right now, where's your heart? What's the yoke you have? You take a responsibility to become a Talmid Chacham and know the Torah, and you're just floating, and you're going through yeshiva, like you're going through university, and if somehow the information will come into you and you know, get a little bit of the test, or no, you become a master and you really know, you take the yoke, the oil. If you take the yoke and the oil in the beginning, Hashem will give you the schus to be the leader in them. Shabbos. Rabbi Hanania ben Akash Roimer. What's that Christopher is not to be the speaker? You might think it's Shneimar. I look over to man, see Kohen Torah be'adim. Adel Iskadei Shemei Rabo. Nobody goes to say, the Alif will say, I echon ve'echon ve'echon Beis Yisrael. Ba'ad lo v'zman tolim. Shabbat, Yisroel, Yisroel, Yisasei, Yisador, Yisalem, Yisalom, Shmei the Kudashor, Leon, Mikosor, Shkosor, Kosor, Kamosor, Yamihon, Boromoni, Wome, Alisol, Rabodon, Batamidion, Kudanidei, Salmidion, Kol Madoski Bora, Kosakadisho, Adei, Kolasar Asar, Hey, no, the bunch of Bokino, Kisabarakami. I know that the people who call on the college way of woman. So I'm smile, came on lane, I'm going to say woman. Essentially, oh, yes, I'm actually going to say woman. All this is being recorded, right?